TNA news. Yeehaw! So Tessa Blanchard is returning to CMLL. What the hell, dudes? She's going here to wrestle, and they're partnered with AEW, and the IWC's brains have melted. Or maybe just mine, but I did not anticipate this. I thought they would try and, just knowing her history, I thought they would try and, like, WWE would try and get her on some of those AAA shows because it would kind of, like, be a jab at CMLL, but people got to understand this as well. The relationships and the loyalties in Mexico, it just works differently. And AAA and CMLL, it's like a divide. You're either kind of CMLL or AAA, you know? I'm not saying the fans. I'm sure the fans are just enjoying all the hot wrestling, but maybe there is some of that. But, you know, Tessa has a history, so I thought for sure they'd try and, like, weaponize her, pal. That's what Dave would say. Well, you know, she's a weapon. The movie Weapons, Brian. That was my auntie. And the witch. Spoiler alert. Yeah, this honestly did shock me, but not where it's like, oh my God, I gotta go see CMLL to see Tessa Blanchard wrestle. Not in that way. Just, I definitely thought TKO and WWE and TNA with that relationship, they would try and, like, insert her in some AAA shit to sort of take a jab at CMLL, but I digress. This is on Español.
Así que no se pierdan la reaparición de Tessa Blanchard y de ahí para adelante. ¿Sí?
Sí, por favor.
¿Nos echamos una concha ahorita terminando?
Ay, tú sabes que sí, un concha, un rebanada de mantequilla, bueno, un panadería completa.
Yeah, so she will be back in CMLL. If you CMLL, what The Rock is cooking, who's trending right now, by the way. But TNA is in active negotiations for new media rights deal. And I know this is sort of making the rounds, but I thought that Carlos Silva pretty much made that, like, he said there's a 90-day window, or was that just only specifically speaking of a TV deal? I don't know, man, but it's going to happen. Carlos Silva feels if TNA continues to build itself as a product, there could be people down the line inquiring about giving investment dollars or even buying the company. And yeah, this is what's interesting, is that he's still open to this notion. Like, I don't see TNA and WWE being partnered forever. Otherwise, TKO would have bought this up already. They're, for some reason, well, not some reason, we kind of know, but WWE's really lending a helping hand to TNA. But even if they unpartner, let's say, it doesn't mean that TNA and WWE won't have, like, a good, cordial business relationship that was established in the past. Like, okay, we could meet up again and do business, and it'll benefit everyone, even if we're not on, like, a signed, like, an agreed upon partnership with a 60-day termination clause or whatever, right? And so this relationship is good for wrestling overall, in case TNA ever decides, like, we're going to off. I think at Bound for Glory, we'll hear about it. I've been saying it forever. I think that's where we'll find out about the TV deal, maybe the week after. Me and Switchblade were DMing about how, you know, TNA's just rocking, and, like, with these most recent AEW ratings that were in the 400,000s for Dynamite, I showed you guys this Switchblade's breakdown of the trends of every network or station, whatever the TNA's been on, how they've done like 3x the number of the average, that blah, 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 blah. We broke that down. You guys have to go. I can't even regurgitate it because unless it's right in front of me, but you guys can go back, and I've covered it a couple of times on the show. Okay. Just to refresh our memories, because this is really going to come into play once the TV deal's announced and stuff. We can look at how TNA's trended with their ratings in the past on Spike and Pop and da-da-da, and we can give an estimation of, like, hey, maybe they can do this. This would be their trend. Maybe it doesn't work out, but either way, if AEW's putting up 400,000, I'm super confident if TNA gets on CW, they'll be doing that no problem. And then it's just like conversation over as far as, like, if there's a competition between AEW and WWE, period. Like, that's just the end of it right there. AEW doesn't even have to go out of business. It's just, that's it right there. Then it's a battle between TNA, AEW, who can then get bigger than the other, swallow the other, to potentially go after WWE. Like, that's what the conversation becomes. If it's not already that, I feel like it's been that for a long time. But of course, you got to play these goddamn games. We make fun of Dave. We make fun of all the sycophants out there. And so it's part of the game. But, and shout out the TNA holes. I'm one of them. But Carlos Silva says, we're going to keep building the product and keep build. Oh, yeah. I was talking to Switchblade, though, about, sorry, I wanted to mention this. Like, dude, it would be awesome to see like TNA and AEW duke it out on Wednesdays. I know that's what people want. And like me as a wrestling fan, it would be fucking hilarious. But they've carved their path on these Thursdays. I think Collision is going to get moved to Thursday permanently or be tacked on to that extra hour of Dynamite. I truly believe that. And I could see Collision not even existing that much longer. So if I'm TNA, dude, I'm not lowering myself to like, and it's weird that we're saying lowering because people are probably like, oh my God, can you believe this? Like AEW's lowering themselves to TNA's level type thing. But I wouldn't even like acknowledge that. Make the war about NXT TNA on the CW. Who gets the better ratings? That's the fucking way to do it, because it's not quite Raw and SmackDown, and let them compete and let the people cross over, and then it just benefits everybody. And then if Collision gets moved to Thursdays, then you spank their ass with that being your night. And then whether Collision was like being written off or not, TNA looks like the winner there. Duking it out on Wednesdays. I mean, that'll be fun as fuck. I'll be fucking grinning ear to ear if they choose it, because that's where it's like you're going to see the IWC get real toxic. You're going to see it if it isn't already, ooh boy, is it going to get bad. But that just makes it seem like TNA, them just focusing on their own shit, and with Carlos Silva, the greater point I'm getting at is them focusing on them, and with Carlos, his mentality seems to align with your boy Phil here. I think he's just focused on them and what they're doing. Primarily, he doesn't, when fucking Alvarez and these guys are talking about the NXT TNA crossover, he doesn't chime in. But when they're talking about Moose specifically or something, he'll fucking chime in. He gives direct answers, and he's like, yeah, the partnership's great, but it's not, they don't decide what we do and shit. And that's the energy he needs to fucking keep. Because it's even like, yeah, we're partnered with WWE, but we're also partnered with AAA, or we're partnered with fucking CMLL. We're partnered with fucking, we'll go to Maple Leaf Pro, whatever, we're partnered with whatever. We're just looking at good relationships, etc. That's the energy you need to keep, because that lets the TNA holes know you're riding for them. You're not like, maybe we can sell this to TKO, like, no, fuck that. Just stay in your own lane. This is what's been making TNA so good in the first place. And yes, they scoop up ex-WWE, but no company doesn't. Like, no indie that you care about, no show, no promotion doesn't do that. Everybody was in WWE, so fucking big and had a monopoly for how many years? Everybody's been in WWE in some form or everyone's had a tryout. Everybody's fucking gotten squashed. Everybody's been there and done that in some capacity. I digress. So Carlos says, we're going to keep building the product and keep building the audience and keep building the digital platforms and the social. We're going to keep building our partnerships we have with WWE and NXT, which is great. That's going to bring in sponsorships. We're going to keep building up the engine. If we do all that, yeah, there could definitely be people that come and knock on our door and say, can we give you investment dollars? Or they may say, can we buy you? But if we don't build the product or make it great, none of that stuff happens. That's a great problem to have. Now, Carlos Silva's dropping a lot of greats, like Tony Khan here. I don't know, is this just like what's in the fucking pro wrestling booker handbook? Like, everything's just fucking great for these guys. TNA President Carlos Silva says the company is actively negotiating with a partner for a potential TV streaming deal. And he says, we are now in active negotiations with a partner, and we're going to work through that. I can't really put a timeline on how long that will take. The good news is that process has started. We're no longer just talking to a bunch of people to sort of gauge interest. Now we have an interested partner and working through potentially a deal for 2026. Okay, so it's going to happen as soon as it can happen. So I'm not saying that means it has to happen January 1st, but like October, November, December, maybe they announce it. I was thinking BFG. And again, that's based on Silva said, hey, there's a 90-day window around BFG. That's about the 80-some 90-day window. So I figured they had something, but they were just going to break it out then. And maybe they are. Maybe this guy's being smart and saying, nah, expect it later so that he can just fucking surprise everyone. But hey, 2026. And he's like, as soon as it can happen, it'll happen. Let's go, dude. I would love to see TNA on the CW competing with NXT, like the way Raw and SmackDown could have been competing with each other in a way. But they don't have like WWE branding on both of them, you know? So TNA Bound for Glory, the tickets distributed 4,518. We're going to talk about this in AEW news a little bit as well and see what their show's doing that same week or the week after, pardon me. But yeah, dude, they are set up for 5,200 people, 5,300 people, and it'll likely sell out. They might even have to open more if it can. Total number of seats. So 7,000. I mean, they could maybe do the 7,000. I'll admit this. I'll take the L. I thought they'd be doing like 8,000 for their pay-per-views by now. Like I thought this one would clear 8,000 easy. I'll take the L on that one, but I knew this was going to happen where TNA was going to get comparable or better ticket sales for PLEs than AEW. And if they get a TV deal, I tweeted it out, people's heads are going to start spinning, you know? Speaking of head spinning, the Iinspiration, aka the Iconics, Cassie Lee and Jessica McKay, they became the TNA Knockouts champions. Everybody kind of knew this was going to happen, especially once Ash vacated her title. And well, they were building up to it. You know, they gave the Elegance brand their run. And I'm not saying break the Elegance brand up or anything like that, but you could see the writing on the wall. And this is good. This is good for the Bound for Glory show and the Showdown show and all of that, which I'm so excited for on Tuesday. Joe Hendry, Carlos Silva confirms here that Joe Hendry is still under TNA contract. So again, he just confirms what your boy Phil's been saying, right? So Phil don't miss here. Carlos says, yes, he is still under contract. You know, he is until he's not, but he is. And Joe's been great. Joe's been great for us. Joe's been great with WWE and NXT. We'll continue to sort of work through that as good partners do. So it's just essentially like Joe's there. He has access to the PC and all that shit. And he's there on NXT like more than he is with TNA. Or maybe, I don't know, you could, is he on, I think he's made all the tapings. Was he on the Edmonton tapings and shit? I'm not sure, but yeah, Joe is that guy. And it's like the Jordynne Grace deal. Like he will fucking, it's just once his deal's up, I think it's like at the start of 26. When's the Rumble? I can't remember, but they'll let him go for the Rumble like they did with Jordan, and he'll just be free to be in WWE. And I could see him after this sort of showdown shit and after this contract, like Rumble shit clears up, like come the Rumble, I could see him just like going right to SmackDown or something, you know? I could even see Joe Hendry as like GM of Raw one day and stuff like that. So I don't expect him to be in NXT too terribly long once his TNA deal's up, but as long as he's in TNA, it makes sense to keep him in NXT. He's already gotten WrestleMania spots. He's already been at the Fan Expo. He's already gotten Rumble spots and shit. Like there's a good future for him in WWE, no matter what role he takes. Speaking of roles you take, TNA ring announcer and former WWE interviewer McKenzie Mitchell comments on her role working in TNA, but also designing Seth Rollins' signature necklace. And she actually tweeted out, yeah, I designed jewelry for like, I think, again, I'm going to fuck it up, but it's just like Carmelo Hayes, I think she did, and Seth, but I don't want to just start throwing names. I'm trying to think like who's wearing chains, but just all the dope chain designs you're seeing, she's making these for Rollins and Hayes, and she named some folks. And she's also married to Vic Joseph, I believe. So shout them out. I'm a huge fucking Vic Joseph fan. And yeah, let's take a listen. Oh yeah, she names them here. Fallon Henley.
My design.
And this is courtesy of Busted Open and Denise Salcedo as well.
On the likes of Trick Williams, Fallon Henley, Roxanne Perez, Seth Rollins.
There you go. I'm like beating around the bush. Who is it again? Trick and Roxanne. She fucking just says it. I didn't know.
The moment of at SummerSlam, I had no idea. Him, and then you see the briefcase.
She quote tweeted it and started listing names again. So I was I might have that bookmark too, but I just fucked up.
And you see this giant necklace piece on it. And it was a surprise to me. Like, that is like a career highlight in my life, to be like, wow, so many people saw that moment.
He wears that one a lot, so that one's yours, right?
That is my design. Yeah, I actually, fun story about this, at WrestleMania this past year, I sent him a DM and I said, listen, could I make you a custom piece? And he's like, yeah, absolutely. And I said, do you have any creative design? Like, do you have any thought behind it? He's like, McKenzie, I trust you. Whatever you want to make, I will absolutely wear it. So we started with his like original gold one that's like a 20-inch that goes right here. And then we made a longer 24-inch. So we just debuted the matte black a couple weeks ago. So he actually had told my husband, he's like, this has become my new identity. And I never really thought that.
Nice. I hope they stick with the black for both of them, for Becky and Seth. I said that the last time they were out there together.
A necklace and an
They've done it 2 or 3 times in a row, I want to say now. At least twice.
accessory would have paired so well with my career, but here we are.
Hell yeah. That's awesome. And I'm glad she's like found a role making jewelry for folks. Myron Reed, who recently challenged for the X Division title, member of the Rascals on the TNA roster. He's the Wrestling Revolver champion. I think he's also the HOG World Champion. He might have dropped that one, but he was attacked by Jake Christ and Nevaeh's daughter. So he got attacked by a little girl, by a little kid. So I'm curious if we're going to hear Jim Cornette go on a rant about this. He might not even see it. Let me know, chat. Does this trigger you seeing a kid hit a tornado DDT on Myron Reed here?
This young lady, Myron, you bastard. Wait a minute! What? Oh my God!
Like a tilt-a-whirl DDT. Let's look at the replay on that.
This young lady, Myron, you bastard.
I mean, it's on an indie, but
Wait a minute! What? Oh my God!
yeah, I don't know how you guys feel about that, man. Let me know if it triggers you or not. Now, we're going to need flutes in the chat because, I do a show called Dave Meltzer, Dumb Moment of the Week, every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, here on youtube.com/@ProWrestleClips. And, of course, there's the Dave Meltzer Dumb Moment of the Week official playlist chronicling all the way back from PWT episode 1. You guys can check that out. But we need flutes in the chat because it is time for a mini Dave Meltzer dumb moment. He's not even really being dumb here, but we'll play a flute anyways because it's cute, and I'm a cutie pie. That's why. But Dave just kind of gets triggered by Jordynne Grace calling Joe Hendry Joe Henry, and she, I guess, literally has thought until now that Joe Hendry's name is Joe Henry. And they explain it here. We'll read her tweet. They got the screen grab here. And what's funny is that it reminded me of, do you guys remember that meme we made? It's in our Discord for sure. It's a bit. It might even be in PWT lore, like the PWT glossary. We have like a dictionary of terms and stuff. Get in the Discord. There's a link somewhere to get in the Discord. But there's John Hendry is what, or what was his name? John Henry is what Ariel's guy, Ariel Helwani, on the Ariel Helwani show. They're like, oh yeah, we love John Henry. And like the guy wasn't being ironic or sarcastic. Like I think he thought that was his name. It just popped me because it reminded me of that. But yeah, Jordynne Grace tweeted this out. She says, the fact that I've been saying Hendry's name wrong for years and no one corrected me says more about y'all than me. And the joke is that like Jordan said his name wrong, but he still appeared.
Jordynne Grace calls him Joe Henry. And she apparently has always thought that his name is Joe Henry.
Not Hendry.
Right. She just thought it was Joe Henry. So that's what she said.
I love John Henry.
And, that was that. So she found out.
Yeah, it got me a Joe Henry bar down at the 11-7.
After the show, from all of the people in social media, that in fact his name is Joe Hendry, and she said that
So Jordynne Grace says, I thought the D was silent, like in handsome and budget, Wednesday, etc. Jordan. And I love Jordynne Grace, by the way. Follows PWT. Shout you, you're a bruv. Listen. I thought the D was silent, like in handsome. The D isn't, I don't think it's silent. Budget, I think it's, Wednesday. You don't go like Wednesday. I get that, but it's like Wednesday, like it isn't silent, I don't think. But yeah, like real G's move in silence like lasagna is what you're going, because I guess, right? Handsome, like sandwich. Some people just like a sandwich, or even throw an M in there, sandwich, but it's sandwich, right? So I don't know. I don't know if technically we need like somebody who, what's someone who like studies language, or like a speech pathologist or something would have to come in here and be like, technically it's not silent, but very, very cute of her to fucking botch this for sure.
knew it was spelled that way, but she thought the D was silent.
But that still works though. Because what I'm saying, I'm like sandwich, handsome, Henry. I mean, if I said Hendry or Hendry, you guys really tell the difference? Like Hendry. I'm still enunciating the D. I'm putting emphasis on my tongue to put the D. Hendry. It's still like Henry. She's not wrong. She's not entirely wrong. I'm with her on this. I'm Team Jordynne Grace on this. Dave.
That's
Wow.
the truth.
I just don't like Dave, is what it is.
That's the
I
explanation.
believe her.
No, I'm sure it's true.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's true. So she just
It is
thought
true,
was-
Dave. You're a
that was the
liar.
deal. Jordynne Grace.
You're a liar, Dave. And you get called out by wrestlers. We're going to cover that Thursday on Dave Meltzer Dumb Moment of the Week, Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific here at youtube.com/@ProWrestleClips. And ladies and gentlemen, that was good old TNA news.